Welcome to Podcast Learn and Fun. Let's start today's journey of learning. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of neural signaling,
Oh, yeah.
how your brain's neurons talk to each other.
It's like unlocking the secrets of our own internal communication network.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. We've all heard of neurons, but what exactly are they?
Yeah.
How do they work?
Neurons are specialized cells that act like messengers,
Okay.
transmitting information throughout the nervous system. They have these amazing structures that allow them to receive,
Like a tiny
process, and transmit signals.
courier
That's a great analogy.
with a specific route.
Each neuron has three main parts:
Okay.
dendrites, an axon, and synapses. Dendrites are like the neuron's inbox,
Okay.
receiving signals from other neurons. The axon is the long cable that transmits the signal away from the cell body,
Like a highway.
kind of like a highway. And then at the end of the axon, you have synapses,
Okay.
which are the connection points where neurons communicate with each other.
So it's like a relay race.
Yep.
The signal gets passed from one neuron to the next,
Uh-huh.
influencing the overall speed and success of the race, which in this case would be our brain function.
Exactly. But how does the signal actually travel?
Right.
That's where the action potential comes in. This is a rapid change in the neuron's electrical charge
Okay.
that travels down the axon like a wave,
So it's like a sudden surge of electricity.
triggered when the neuron receives enough input from other neurons.
That sets the communication in motion.
Precisely. And this surge has a specific sequence.
Okay.
First, the neuron is at rest with a negative charge inside compared to the outside. Then, when it receives enough input, the charge flips,
Okay.
becoming positive. That's depolarization.
Okay.
After that, it quickly resets going back to negative. That's repolarization. There's even a little overshoot before it settles back to its resting state.
That sounds a lot more complex than just an on-off switch.
It is. And for the longest time, we didn't fully understand how this electrical signaling worked at a molecular level.
Yeah.
That's where the Hodgkin-Huxley model comes in.
Okay.
These scientists developed a set of equations that describe how ions like sodium and potassium flow in and out of the neuron,
Wow.
causing these changes in electrical charge.
So it's like they cracked the code of the action potential.
Exactly. Their work revolutionized our understanding of how neurons communicate,
Wow.
paving the way for countless discoveries in neuroscience. It even helped lay the groundwork for things like brain-computer interfaces.
Wow. So these equations weren't just theoretical. They had real-world implications.
Absolutely. But we've only talked about the signal firing.
Right.
What about how it travels along the axon, that highway we mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
It turns out that the axon structure plays a crucial role in signal transmission.
So it's not just about the signal itself, but also the pathway it travels on.
Precisely. Scientists use something called the cable equation to model how the signal propagates.
Okay.
This equation takes into account factors like the axon's diameter and the resistance of its membrane, which affect how far and how fast the signal can travel without losing strength.
I'm starting to realize that there's a lot more to this than I initially thought.
Yeah.
It's like a complex electrical circuit with each component playing a specific role.
Mm-hmm.
But how does the signal jump from one neuron to the next across that tiny gap, the synapse?
It doesn't actually jump. Instead, it triggers the release of these tiny chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These neurotransmitters cross the synapse and bind to receptors on the next neuron, initiating a new electrical signal.
So it's like a chain reaction with the signal converting between electrical and chemical forms.
It is.
And it's amazing.
And the way these neurotransmitters interact with receptors can have all sorts of effects on the receiving neuron,
Okay.
making it more or less likely to fire its own action potential.
Wow.
It's like a complex language with different neurotransmitters conveying different messages.
So each synapse is a point of control, influencing the flow of information throughout the brain. That's incredible to think about.
And keep in mind, we're still just scratching the surface. This intricate dance of electrical and chemical signaling is happening billions of times per second within our brains, allowing us to experience the world, make decisions, and form memories. It's truly remarkable.
This is also fascinating.
Yeah.
But all this talk about individual neurons makes me wonder, how do they all work together as a network?
That's where it gets even more mind-blowing.
Okay.
Individual neurons are amazing, but it's their connections and interactions that create the true magic of the brain.
So we're moving from single conversations to a vast interconnected web of communication.
Right.
I'm eager to dive deeper into that.
Me too. And that's exactly what we'll explore next.
All right, my brain is officially primed for this mind-blowing network talk you promised. We zoomed in on those incredible neurons.
Yeah.
But now I'm ready for the big picture. How do they actually create thoughts, memories, and, well,
Me.
it's all about those connections.
Okay.
The trillions of synapses forming complex circuits and pathways throughout the brain.
Think of it like a massive transportation system
Okay,
with information flowing along different routes.
visualize that.
Yeah.
But with so many roads
Some well-traveled, some more obscure.
and so much traffic,
Hmm.
how does the brain make sense of it all? Is there some kind of central control system directing the flow?
Actually, no. There's no single CEO in the brain. Instead, it's more like a decentralized network
Oh.
with different regions specializing in certain tasks,
So it's like a city with specialized districts.
but constantly communicating and influencing each other.
But everyone is interconnected and working together.
Precisely. And just like a city evolves over time,
Right.
our brain's networks are constantly adapting,
Okay.
strengthening connections that are used frequently and weakening those that are neglected.
Okay.
This is what we call neuroplasticity,
Right.
the brain's ability to rewire itself based on experience.
Hold on. I need a minute to process that. So every time I learn something new or have a new experience, my brain is physically changing.
That's right. It's happening all the time from the moment we're born. It's this amazing ability to adapt that allows us to learn new skills, form memories, and even recover from injuries.
That's incredible. But how do scientists even begin to study these vast, ever-changing networks? It seems like an impossible task.
It is incredibly challenging, but we're developing powerful tools and techniques. Brain imaging technologies like fMRI allow us to see which brain regions are active during different tasks. Computational modeling helps us simulate network activity and test hypotheses.
So we're building virtual brains to understand our real brains. That's pretty futuristic.
It is, and these models are becoming more and more sophisticated, incorporating what we know about individual neurons and their connections to create simulations that behave more and more like the real thing.
Okay, so we're starting to map the brain's transportation system.
Mhm.
But what have we actually learned about how these networks function? What are some of the key insights?
One of the most fascinating discoveries is the importance of synchronized activity.
Uh.
Neurons don't just fire randomly. They often fire together in rhythmic patterns, like a coordinated dance of electrical impulses.
So it's not just about individual messages being sent, but about the rhythm and timing of those messages.
Exactly. These synchronized patterns, or brainwaves, seem to play a crucial role in various cognitive functions, from attention and perception to memory and decision-making.
So our thoughts and actions emerge from these intricate patterns of neural activity? It's mind-boggling to think that something so complex arises from these tiny electrical signals.
It really is, and this brings up a profound question. If our brains are essentially complex networks of electrical signals, could we ever build artificial systems that rival our own cognitive abilities?
That's a question that has captivated scientists and philosophers for decades. Are we talking about creating true artificial intelligence machines that can think and feel like humans?
That's the ultimate goal for some,
Right.
but we're still a long way off. While we've made incredible progress in artificial intelligence, current systems are still far from replicating the full complexity and adaptability of the human brain.
So there's still a certain magic to the way our brains work, something that we haven't quite cracked yet.
Absolutely. The human brain remains one of the most enigmatic and awe-inspiring structures in the known universe.
It sounds like there's still a lot of mystery left to uncover.
Yeah.
Where do you think research in neural signaling is headed next?
There are so many exciting avenues to explore.
Yeah.
One area that's really heating up is the study of individual differences in brain networks.
Okay.
How do our unique experiences and genetic makeup shape the way our brains are wired?
So we're moving beyond just understanding the general principles of neural signaling to exploring what makes each brain unique.
Exactly. This could have huge implications for personalized medicine education and even understanding human behavior. Imagine being able to tailor interventions or learning strategies based on an individual's brain wiring.
That's incredible to think about. A future where we can personalize everything based on our own, unique brain wiring. It sounds like science fiction,
Yeah.
but also incredibly promising.
It is, and it highlights the incredible power of understanding
Yeah.
how these tiny electrical and chemical signals shape who we are. We've journeyed from the intricate workings of individual neurons to the vast interconnected networks that give rise to our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
It's been a truly mind-expanding journey. And I have to admit, I'm walking away with a newfound appreciation for the complexity and wonder of the human brain.
Me too. It's a reminder that even though we can't see them,
Right.
these tiny electrical signals are the foundation of everything we experience and everything we are.
Thank you for listening to Podcast Learn and Fun. If you like our videos, please subscribe, click the like button, comment, and share. See you next time.